Welcome to another episode of the Oracles. Today, coming live to you. Z's at work. I'm at home. so,
Nice
so a bit of a
performance.
change of scenery today. How are you doing, Z?
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good, thank you. Just to start today, uh, okay, I don't know if I should start with the bad news or start with some, I don't know, something a bit light-hearted in a way. But I don't want
Let's get through the bad news first. I'm the
to.
person. Bad news
Yeah.
first. You let
All
me,
right.
and move on.
Yeah. All right. So now, this past week, was it this week or was it last week where we heard of the passing of Tumi Tladi,
Yeah,
which is unfortunate. We haven't heard as yet what happened to him, but it's very, very sad to see someone of such good talent and someone who was who was basically on a trajectory of doing
yeah,
something great with his career, just pass on just like that.
yeah.
I don't know if you've heard anything concerning that, Z.
Yeah, I did on Sunday. I think Sunday morning, if I'm not mistaken, or
Yeah,
Sunday afternoon. Yeah. Apparently, it was suicide.
really?
Apparently, it's what they said. Yeah, and when you look back to his tweets, honestly, it just hit me the same way Ricky's death hit me. Like it
Yeah,
was the same. His last tweet were along the lines of they will love you until you're gone, or they won't love you as much until you're gone. Let me see. I
oh yeah,
remember he tweeted something very painful. So it took us back literally to what Ricky did.
yeah.
Like he tweeted, then he left us just like that. But and he was too much so excited about releasing new music.
It was because I think he just released a new song with Nadia Nakai
Nadia,
called
yeah.
Presidential. And also he was just about to release something else with because now I'm also
Deja
trying
Vu.
to.
Yeah, he wanted to release a song with Deja Vu with like an
Oh yeah, yeah,
R&B. Yeah, the last tweet that he tweeted besides him advertising his music was there were two. The first one, you only truly appreciate your loved ones when there's a countdown. The
oh
small
yeah,
things don't matter anymore. Then the follow-up to that was love like they are leaving tomorrow. And we
yeah,
woke up to him not being around.
yeah. Yeah, because I did see that one about the loved ones. Uh, it's
Yeah.
just really sad. It's really sad,
Okay.
especially for someone so young, because it was like 30 years old still.
Yeah. Like it's so crazy. At times you take something maybe you heard from like a skit or a joke now, and
Yeah,
you put it through to real life, and you're like, it's really not a joke. There's something that I don't know if you know Alfie. He's an MC. He does like comedy skits as well.
yeah,
On TikTok, there's a part where I think a few weeks ago he was like, "Ukona into I off," and he wasn't really speaking to one thing in particular, but the fact that everyone in the country got him.
yeah,
There's like this aura that's happening that is not making sense, you know?
yeah, yeah. Because I
You
think I
can't
can
even
also,
imagine.
yeah, I think I can also say something about that. Because just last week, I mean, here in Pumalanga, as you would know, there have been the protests happening last week. And I
Mhm.
remember on the first day, I think it might have been on, when did it happen? I think it was on Monday or something. I was driving into a shopping complex close to my house,
Yeah.
and like the way that people were behaving, I could also sense in a way that there's a sense of lawlessness going
Yes.
around, and it's almost like you could feel it there's something's going on and something's about to really happen. And I think there's going to be a lot of changes
Yes.
coming up very, very soon. I mean, we don't really know exactly what it is, but there's definitely going to be some changes happening around in the country with
Yeah.
people. There's just that thing around it in the atmosphere of lawlessness and change.
Yes. And you know what sucks? It's how everyone is feeling the same thing.
Mm,
Everyone knows that yes, bad things have happened in the past couple of months. We've been through a lot as a country.
Yeah.
But you know, when you're happy, but deep down in your heart, or at the back of your head, you're like, something is still going to go wrong.
Yeah.
Because I was speaking to Aziza the other day, like speaking about Tumi's death and everything. And be like, you're trying to be okay, you're trying to be positive, but deep down in your heart, you're like, something is still going to happen.
Mm.
And already we are an anxiety-driven generation because I won't lie, a lot of us are dealing with anxiety.
Yeah.
So to have those things and being conflicted and not understanding what's going on, it's tricky. It's really, really tricky. It's confusing a lot of people. It's, man, I don't like this feeling that we're dealing with, honestly, especially in the entertainment space.
Yeah. It's really, some of these things are very difficult to explain, because sometimes some of these things, even if you would try to explain it, there's a lot of people who will not really be able to understand what you're
Exactly.
talking about, and some of these feelings are very hard to explain to to other people. So yeah, there's just a lot that is going on. But how do you feel? What do you think people are now going to receive Tumi's music now that he's gone?
No, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of how suddenly you start getting streams and um, like getting people being people's once you've passed. And I've
Yeah.
seen it happen a lot of times.
Mm.
And I'm not saying people should now listen to your music because there are people who never knew him before this, right?
Yeah.
Those are the who go to listen to him. But also there are people who knew him and they bashed him at every given chance. But now that he has passed, suddenly he was the be all and end all.
Yeah.
Like a lot of hypocritical behavior comes up after a person has passed. Unfortunately, we've seen it with a lot of artists.
Yeah.
People, you see how I'll speak with the person who's still alive right now. The person you know that I fight for it every given chance.
Yeah.
Reason. There are people bully reason day in, day out. The
Mm.
same thing people are always against on social media. Stop bullying. People are dealing with mental issues and whatnot and whatnot. The same person now is 28. The same person at 2 p.m. will be bullying another person.
Yeah.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people do that to artists as well. So a lot of people, there are people who loved it to me, there are people who didn't know him, and there are people who bashed him at every given chance.
Mm.
Now those same people are gonna come back and be like, he gave us the best music ever. He was one of the chill guys. But when you scroll back to a few of their tweets, like, but then what's
It
happening
doesn't.
here?
Yeah. It doesn't say the same thing.
Do you understand? Because my thing is also keep quiet. It's okay.
Yeah.
You can, if you don't want to say rest in peace or you want to say that and move on. You don't have to now pretend like you really messed with the guy when you didn't.
Mm.
And for you people who never listened to him, that's all good and well. Go stream his music, find out who like what kind of person he was. You know how when XXX passed on, that happened.
Yeah.
Nipsey Hussle passed on. A lot of fans came up after they passed. That's all good and well. My thing is that's fine, but I don't like seeing hypocrites. That's my problem. Because I feel like we're lying, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. It's was not, and even that topic for me is a bit controversial in a sense, because I feel like an artist is an artist, and they, as an artist, they're only as good as the music that they've made.
Yeah.
For one, if like because now people like let's take Reason for instance. We've heard his music over the years. He built up a fan base purely because of how good he is, and simply just because he changed genres from hip hop or rap to amapiano. Now the same fan base is now bashing him as though he belongs to them. He belongs to hip hop, but we never really listen to the music that is making. That,
So,
I mean, when you listen to the music that is written, the amapiano songs that is written for, you can
reason is
hear
still
still,
reason.
yes,
Yeah.
reason is still reason, and it's also very interesting. And we should actually be celebrating someone like Reason, because most of his raps are written in English, but because amapiano, it belongs to kids or ekasi, belongs to kids who grew up ekasi.
Mhm.
He's writing in vernac, which is something that we hardly heard from him in his music. We never hear from him in his music. So we never really look at an artist and their artistry. We never really appreciate the work that they do, that they put into their art while they're still alive. But one day when reason is gone, that tune is going to change. Now everyone is going to love reason. Everyone is going to appreciate what he did, moving from hip hop or rap to amapiano and moving the culture forward.
They'll start calling him a pioneer, like they were not bashing him at every second chance they got.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
As I said earlier, I'm not saying the person mustn't get new fans. Because I myself, when it comes to Pop Smoke, I knew Pop Smoke, but I never really listened to him until he passed.
yeah,
And I became a huge Pop Smoke fan, you know. But
yeah,
nothing is hypocritical because I never really knew him. I never really listened to him, but I studied after. But if I did, and every chance I got, I was bullying him, I was bashing him. Now, why is it that literally in the space of a couple of minutes between him passing away and him still being alive, what changed, you know? Why am I now acting like I was his biggest fan? Why am I? You can support a person, sure, but then don't be now hypocritical about everything. That's my chat. That's where I'm standing at. Because right now, I'm also against this whole thing of people advocating for mental health when they're gonna come back and bully a person.
yeah,
And I always refer that to reason because they're always doing it to reason. If there's one artist in this country who has taken a lot from social media, is reason.
yeah,
And every single day he wakes up and be like, you know what, I'll do what I want to do because I need to eat. Because one thing I always say, you guys don't want reason to transition, but you guys are the same people who are not buying his albums when he's rapping.
yeah,
So how do you expect him to maintain his life? How do you expect him not to fall into depression when you guys are doing all of that? You know, it becomes
yeah.
very tricky. Now people, I'm like, people change too very quick, very, very quick.
And then there are questions after if reason was to commit suicide as well. There will be now questions as to why he killed himself when his life was
Why not
going so well.
something, you know? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, enough about death. Enough about all these negative things. Um, okay, because I had a something else. What else did I want to talk about? I actually had it, yeah, and I had it in the back of my mind just now. Oh yeah, it is about rappers who are not really, or artists who are not,
Yes.
yeah, who are not appreciated for their artistry as much. I know that now that I'm introducing it, it sounds a bit negative, but I'm thinking, like in the back of my mind, I'm
Yeah.
thinking of guys like Pitch Black Afro and Afro Man. Okay, I also understand now that I hear their names that sound a bit similar. They have that they have that similar thing to them.
Yeah.
But when you listen to, because I've been listening to Styling Gel, it was a Styling Gel of Split Ends, Pitch Black Afro's
Yeah.
debut album.
Like, yeah.
I was recently listening to it, and I was listening. I was reminded of his rhyme schemes, the way that he delivered his lines, the way that he delivered his music. Uh, how do you feel about that when it comes to artists who are not appreciated for their artistry?
Across all genres, no, not necessarily to hip
No,
hop.
yeah, not necessarily hip hop.
You know, one thing I've come to accept, and I think you've seen it with my music taste.
Mm,
I don't, 90% of the time, I don't like everyone that everyone else likes.
yeah,
Like when you look at my playlist, you're like, okay, who are you? Who is this girl? Why are you listening to this? Because
mm,
you guys would be jamming your Custard Titch and jamming your, what are these new boys? Major Steez, Major, yeah, I don't know those
yeah,
lines, I'm not sure. Then you find Zandi, she's just listening to, for example, Flash Kumkani or
uh,
whatever, you know, or
yeah,
Dika Wala. Because for me, I listen to music to get a sense of not only the artist, but the artistry.
yeah,
I wanna hear station music. Maybe that's one thing about me. That's why you find me gravitating more to your Peter Rolls, find me gravitating more to your Stravas, you know, to your
yeah,
Mobiles, because I feel like I resonate.
yeah,
That's one thing I want to get from music. Yes, there are days where I'm like, I'm going to listen to luxury rap because I want to see myself there. But
yeah,
it's not something I wake up to every day, you know. So I feel like I think Pete Dot always wanted to Pete Dot or Blacklist. He was like, I'm not underrated, I'm not slept on, but the ones who know me, and they
Yeah.
appreciate me.
Yeah.
And I started looking at it in that way. I stopped saying people are underrated, because if I were to name them and say who I feel like is underrated, they would disagree because they have fans in us who love them. I could
Yeah.
name it Ginger, I could name, even guys, Stogie is appreciated now, but not really appreciated.
Mm.
Because I feel like people listen to Stogie then they zone out, because Stogie will rap.
Yeah.
You
Stogie will, you'll get lost in Stogie's raps.
Like there are songs where I listen to this day, and the song came out 5 years ago. When I listen, I'm like, how did I miss that? That's one thing about Story. You understand?
Yeah.
I could say, who's this? Blakely is underrated. I could say Envy, because Envy is an amazing artist.
Yeah.
But right now, I could step into a room of 10 people, and when they ask me I'm listening to, and I say Envy, literally all 10 of them won't know who I'm speaking about.
Yeah.
Then they get to listen to me like, this guy is actually amazing.
Mm.
So I think I've come to a point where I relate with what the PTA guys said when they said, I'm not really underrated. I just have my niche, and my niche messes with me.
Yeah.
Because they are good. Just because they don't have 10 million streams, but rather 10,000, it doesn't mean they're any less good. They are
Yeah.
good for the people that they are good to.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because an artist can only grow regardless of whether they are known or not. Yeah, an artist is an artist, and the music that they make is just wonderful. You look at some of the people that we've talked to on the podcast before, someone like Elijah LaFleur. He's an incredible artist, but he's not as big as most artists who do the kind of music that he does. Yeah, it's just incredible. And the reason why I mentioned guys like I mentioned Fish Black Afro and Afro Man, sorry, is I listened to Fish Black Afro's rhyme schemes, and he makes up his words sometimes. Makes up his own words somewhere in between his lines. He'd have multiple, like maybe 4 words that rhyme together in like 2 lines already. And I also noticed that a lot of his rhymes, the end in vowels is either an O or an A. And it's so amazing to me how he's able to find so many words that rhyme together, especially in vernac, and he uses them like it's very rare that he would repeat a lot of the words that rhyme together in his rhyme schemes, and it's just so incredible. And then when it comes to Afro Man, obviously he is not really loved in the mainstream because he hates the industry as a whole. He hates the corporate world. He hates the music side, the business side of music. And I remember he released one song, I think it's called Whack Rappers, where he was dissing pretty much everyone in the industry at the time. And this was back, I think, in like 2005 or 6 or something. And when you listen to Afro Man, the intellect in his rhymes, though, you can see how intelligent he is in creating his music. He is just fearless in a sense, because it's something similar that 50 Cent did before he blew up. He also released like a diss track, which made him actually very popular. Released a diss track dissing everyone in the music industry, particularly guys in New York. And also Afro Man, he can also sing, by the way, because every now and then in his music, you hear him hit a few notes. So it's just a lot for me. Like there's a lot of artists who are not really appreciated for their art simply because they don't like them as people as much, and they do not fit into this. And they don't have that image that people really want to see. I mean, Afro Man had this Afro wig and the guy had a missing tooth. I don't think anyone would really want to work with. It's these people in marketing that would not really want to sell a pitch black Afro.
Yeah, no, that's true. It's association also, man, because the people look at them and they're like, what is this guy giving to the general public,
Yeah.
Because a lot of you know how Ricky always said, listen to the kids, no?
Yeah.
The kids also listen to him, right? When you look at people right now, they walk like Ricky, dress like Ricky, speak like Ricky.
Yeah.
You know? Now compare that to Pitch Black Afro. There's no one really doing that. No one will want to speak like him, dress like him, you know, or act like him.
Yeah.
So influence also plays a huge role.
Yeah.
And brands will always associate themselves with a person they see who, okay, this person has a great chance of being influential and influencing the entire public, you know.
Mm.
So there's a lot of things that come into play with certain artists who are whether overlooked, underrated, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. So do you reckon that artists should always look at themselves as a business, as an individual business, where there is the product that they deliver, and then there's also the branding and the marketing part of it?
To some extent, yes. I'm saying to some extent because now I feel like as the world
Yeah.
we've evolved a bit, right?
Yeah.
Now people are at a point where they won't take you for how you look like, but for
Yeah.
rather what you say, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
And some people will take how you behave as well. Because a lot of kids are still influenced by what an artist do, you
Yeah.
know?
I mean,
Where an
cancel
artist
culture
could
is
be, exactly.
cancel
An
culture
artist
is
could
built
be,
on
exactly it is.
what you do. Yeah.
An artist would be drinking like you lean and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yes, they hear that you're saying don't do drugs, but you're drinking lean. So they will do what you're doing, not necessarily what you say.
Yeah. And
As much as I believe, guys, people are not meant to be role models, especially artists. You know,
mm,
have a role model at home. You know how parents be like, "What are you teaching the kids? What are you doing like this? Why are you doing like that?" Forgetting what's now is still individual. You know, you're
yeah.
making music is. I'm still me. At the end of the day, I also want to be happy. So if me
Yeah.
being happy means I'm at the club on Monday because I was working Thursday to Sunday, I'll be at the club and I'll be drinking. Don't now
Yeah.
see me and think I'm going to influence your child to be a drinker and start drinking on Mondays.
Yeah.
You know, but
Yeah.
also look at yourself as a business. So at the end of it, especially after what happened with COVID, a
mm,
lot of artists suffered because they were not getting income.
Yeah.
You know, so if you don't look at yourself as a business entity, what happens when situations like that happen again?
Yeah.
Because you're an ambassador or you have a brand partnership or alignment, you know about okay, even if I'm not gigging, at least I'm still getting this because there was a contract signed.
Yeah.
So you look at every aspect of a business and you do that. You're not going to be a business yourself alone.
mm,
You need a team, but consider yourself a company. Because at the
Yeah.
end of the day, these people need to eat from you gigging, you making appearances. You are the artist, you know. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna carry yourself a certain way, once you get cancelled, you're literally making 5, 6 other people lose their jobs because if you know how to behave,
Yeah.
if you don't
And
watch what you're saying.
yeah, and I think something that we also tend to forget is that a lot of artists, a lot of musicians are actually kids as well. They're kids themselves. It's people who are, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you look at someone like Kilakau, for instance. He was discovered while he was still in high school. I think he was still in grade 12, grade 11 or 12. So that means it was 17 or 18. And he didn't have a very long career. He wasn't around very, very long, which means because now he passed on like in his early 20s. But you look at the kind of lifestyle that he lived, you look the kind of the things that he was doing. And this is not to say that I'm not speaking ill or whatever, but I'm just looking at the kind of influence that he has had in a very very short career. And sometimes we forget that he was also a kid. A lot of the people right now in the music industry are kids, so they're doing what kids with money would do. So you cannot raise your child to say that look at so and so an artist and do that. Like every child is raised in a home, and that home is supposed to teach children how to be in
Correct.
society, how to live their lives, how to behave when they are whether they are home or not. So we cannot we cannot leave kids to be raised by celebrities or to be raised by, yeah, we cannot leave children to be raised by celebrities, because celebrities, they do some very, very crazy stuff. They get themselves into a lot of trouble. They
Yes.
cannot really trust it. I mean, in general, you cannot trust your kids with your neighbors. And these are people that you live with in a community. So how do
Yeah.
you now trust them uh, to to look at someone you both of you have never even met? You only see on TV, and and this reminds me, because a lot of artists, they actually put on an act once they are in front of a
Yeah.
camera or behind a mic. It's something that is exactly what Kanye West was doing. He said it himself, because there was a Kanye West before College Dropout, and then once College Dropout came out, and I'm sure you've seen the documentary, where he himself was saying that now he has to put on an act,
Yeah.
so he can have this certain image, which is was a Kanye West that we knew between College Dropout and I think up until maybe 808 and Heartbreak. And then after that, or at least from 808 and Heartbreak, that's when you now started seeing the Kanye West that we are seeing
Yes.
today, because you cannot keep up an act for too long.
You really
You cannot
can't.
keep up an
And
act forever.
true, especially also for artists who are, not necessarily, they didn't want this thing, you
Yeah,
know. And I'm speaking to, even if they wanted it now, the way they came into it was too quick.
yeah,
Because speaking about Ukila, guys, Ukila wasn't in studio recording.
yeah.
Ukila wasn't trying to gig.
He wasn't.
It was the
It was
power
just
of
playing
social
around. It
media.
was, yeah, it was
It
part
was
of a trend.
literally chilling with the boys,
Yeah,
literally chilling with the boys. That happened. If you start on the beat, it blew up. Now
yeah,
imagine I went to bed today on the 13th. Nobody knows me except the 5 people who follow me on Instagram.
yeah,
I wake up tomorrow, the whole country is speaking about me. Saturday, you finally consume, we have to make a song. Next week Friday, I'm meant to perform. You can't tell me that won't do a number to you mentally.
yeah. It will.
It's going to
Definitely will.
rock you. It's
Yeah.
going to rock you. And now you can't judge how he reacts to fame.
Mm.
Because it wasn't something he worked tirelessly for. He wasn't in the industry for a while before he blew up. He went to bed, singamaz.
Yeah.
Now everybody speak about Kilaka.
And it wasn't
Now
prepared
you're
for all of
stepping
that.
out. You can't even go to a mall because the kids are going to lose their minds.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So the way a person now behaves towards it, now if he needs liquid courage to perform, he's gonna do it. Because Agayaz, it's all new. He's stepping out to 40,000 people. He used to perform to them.
Yeah.
He only knew 5 people in his life.
Yeah.
He's gonna have an
Yeah, which is the same thing with DOS. He just came out with a dance. Everyone now is doing it. Is always performing Monday, Thursday to Monday, and now he's starting to feel. He is feeling all of that. Yeah, yeah, he said it himself. Now he's feeling all of that. It's now coming back. It's now doing a number on his body, on his mind, and he needs a bit of a rest. So yeah, it's a bit crazy. It's a bit crazy.
And with Dawson, it was something he wanted to do. He's been
Yeah,
freestyling, he's been in studio. So
yeah,
at least there was that part of him. He was doing all of that.
yeah.
But the thing, he was never ready for it because now
Yeah.
it was literally overnight success.
Yeah,
Literally. So the fame, the money, the honeys, because now he used to buy tickets. You were buying general access to see your artists perform. Now you are the artist. Now you need to get rider. Now you need to plug people with a VIP tag. Now you're getting
yeah.
the pressure. People want to interview you. People want to call you to their podcast. People want to be with you. Whoever had those guys. The same vow that they knew him as sure, and
Mm.
move on. Now when it goes back to a vow, his car can't move from one stop sign to the next without him getting stopped multiple times.
And there's probably always people at his house now.
Do you understand?
Yeah,
That day I woke up around 5:30 in the morning. I would go to my Insta. Doss is recording high out of his mind. I'm like, do you understand? Maybe this is not what he used to do. Maybe he used to record late at night and go to bed. But now, because there's this whole pressure of him needing to work, he's making a song with Blackie, he's making a song with Maporesa, he needs to do this, needs to do that. It's a lot. He used to perform. Now he's never went to Cape Town, for example, right? I don't know if he has or hasn't. Even Durban, it's close, but maybe he's never went to Durban. Now he needs to apply for a visa, get a passport because he needs to perform in Amsterdam.
And right
It's
now,
a lot.
it's a lot. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah. Yeah. It's really crazy. And unfortunately, we don't have a lot of time left because I wanted to make, but maybe we'll have this topic for next time. Because I wanted to ask you about some of the best, okay, let's say the best 16 bars that you've ever heard. The best 16 bars that you love.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
No, but you have time to think about it. You have time to think about it. Just have it at the back of your mind. We'll
I
talk
know I
about
always
that
put
next
people
time.
under pressure, né?
Yeah.
But this is the pressure I don't need.
Yeah.
No, there's no, not me. And I can come here and give you and be like my best 16 bars from MT. And you
Yeah.
can't find me because MT apps. But now
Yeah.
people don't think that it does. Because you see what I was saying earlier, with the kind of music that I listen to and the way I listen to people, to artists,
Yeah.
it's different from a lot of people. As I can jam Manando me from morning to night because I enjoy MT that much, you know.
Yeah.
But some people just do MT as well. MT don't think MT raps, but he does, you know.
Yeah.
So it's
I mean
tricky, it's tricky.
Yeah, I mean that's why it's trusted. That's why it's trusted with a lot of folks. It's trusted with a lot of features because he raps. But yeah, it's something that you'll have to think about. We'll talk about it
I can give
next
you a
time.
top five.
Okay,
Not,
let's
not,
go.
not one top. I know a top five. A top five. I'll give you.
Yeah.
15 hot 16s. That I no 6 hot 16s. I'll give you that.
Okay.
Not one. One is too much
Not
pressure.
one. All right. All right.
It's like saying I'm the favorite artist in the country. No, guys. I say Ginger. Where am I living Stogie? I say Stogie. Where am I living Questa? I say Questa. Where am I living? Who's this? Black Layers? I know, guys.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. And also, next time, what I want us to talk about is how you think. If you think, we know that Zwaibala won the first summer award for in the hip hop category. But I want to ask you.
I still got questions about that one, but okay.
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to ask you. Okay, I'm going to ask you if you think the outcry would have been less if it was Tukolo, for example, who won the award over Zwai. But I also have other names. I also have other names that I want to throw in, but we'll talk about that a bit later on.
Well, I think controversial.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. But I don't know. Do you have any last words?
No, man. I enjoy the content. I enjoy speaking about artists outside of it's music, yes, but I like speaking about artists as the person, you know.
So yeah.
So I appreciate when you do things like this. So man, yeah, I'm happy. I'll give you your top five when we speak again, and that outcry we'll discuss. We'll talk about it.
Yeah. All right. All right. From me, there's really nothing else except please subscribe to the channel. Please share with all your friends, share with family. Let's grow this channel. There's a lot. I keep promising this every week that there's a lot that is coming your way. So please stay with us. Please subscribe. Tell everyone you know to subscribe to the Oracles Music Podcast. But until next week, have a great one. Bye.
Bye.